next to last is everything. A lot of stuff's been covered. One thing I would like to go back to is a question that was kind of labeled as inappropriate, but I think the way that this presentation started out, it was described as a similar concept to an RPC, but it was predominantly commercial. And C4 is described as predominantly commercial with residential in it. As a matter of fact, we spelled out in our code, you're allowed up to 40% residential in a C4 application. It was also mentioned that there was a similar project, I believe the only other C4 application we have seen, and that is a heavy mixed-use application. So what we have here is an application for C4 which heavily incorporates residential in it. We don't even have a token townhouse in the corner of the parking lot. I would like to, and this is, I apologize, I think all the questions have been asked. I'm making more of a statement, but every presentation we get from an interest group here talks about two things: traffic, and then also bringing housing to the east side of the county. And I applaud the applicant for 1,750 jobs, but that just exacerbates the problem that we see in Sussex County, that we create 1,750 jobs, we've created tens of thousands of jobs along the east side of the county, and we do not create the opportunities for people to work where they live. And that seriously adds to the traffic problem. When we look at the other application, I hope it helps to solve the traffic problem. But, and speaking of this, we are actually, it would be so much easier to support if we were solving a problem that we know is extremely obvious on the east side of the county, which is the workforce housing component. I do agree with Mr. Lloyd, but I share a lot of the same concerns, that I also heard. But I would hope the message would be is, workforce housing in these applications, and this C4 application is, especially made for, to help solve that problem. And
Mr. Freeman,
press your mic.
Is that on?
Yeah.
The going back to the zoning ordinance for a second, the RPC and the C4, say what you say. One's a residential district, one's a commercial district. The residential permits some commercial. The commercial permits some residential, but they don't require it. It's just a permitted bonus if you want it. This application was this pure shopping center. It never crossed my mind, and I've been doing this a long time, and what I tend to do is I hear what you say, and I tell people, I pass the message down, and I try to come back with things that start addressing the concerns that you have, for instance, a fire company apartment, things like that. So short of having an ordinance that requires it, it is kind of this word of mouth thing, and it just wasn't part of this plan. If I could go back in a time machine, I think I probably would suggest that they might like to see that, but that's not what we got before you, so it is what it is.
Okay.
that was just, certainly the questions have been asked. I wanted to provide my commentary on it. And the other thing is I think, I would agree, perpetual funding, I look much more favorably on perpetual funding of the fire and the ambulance service. We need to remember the ambulance service. We've got 2 ambulance-only companies in Sussex County, so not in this area, but the fire and ambulance service perpetual funding sometimes is a lot more important than one-time funding. So. And
I agree, and I think any, as I said, any responsible commercial citizen is going to be supporting the fire companies if for no other reason they provide fire protection in addition to the on-site fire protection. But I certainly can represent that. I will recommend my client to do that.
That is all I had, and I did not use any metric measurements.
Well, thank you.
Did you have any questions?